Hey friends, welcome to Life Made Full. This podcast is centered around business, faith, and family, 3 areas that are dear to our heart. If you are a business owner in ministry, own a family business, or you have a family, join us today around our family table to discuss these topics and more. Welcome back to Life Made Full. I'm Micah, Doug, Christy, and we're so glad that you're here. What? I don't even know where to go from here right now. This is awkward. That's a little awkward.
You're coming off of a big conference weekend.
That was last weekend.
I know. You're coming off of a big conference. Well, that's what I meant. You know
I know what you meant. I was just trying to be funny. All right, so you want to talk about that? Let's talk about the conference.
Okay.
How was it for you, Christy?
It was good. I mean, I had a smaller take. It's more about how was it for you?
It was wonderful. Absolutely the most nerve-wracking event I think I've ever I cannot even explain the nerves leading up to that, only because I knew that it was such a heavy responsibility. It was
Do you think that's it? Be honest, because you had to stick to a script.
You are right on that, because I'm not a script person, and so I worked so hard. Let's talk about that. I worked so hard. So things I learned on this first conference. That's kind of what we could maybe title this. Things I learned on this first conference. I knew that I am a hip shooter. You was coaching somebody one time, and she said, I think we talked about that. She's like, I just need to know one thing. What does your mom mean when she said she is a hip shooter, or she shoots from the hip?
Yeah. Yeah.
Christy said, well, she says so many things, but I'm guessing she's more saying that she just in the moment. I'm more of an in the moment person. And I'm learning more and more and more about myself as the days and the months and the years progress. So I knew going into this conference, though, that obviously I wanted it to be not so structured that we didn't have leadway for, for the room, to go with the flow of the room. But I knew that it needed to have some type of structure.
So you can fit as much content in as possible.
Exactly, yes. And so I worked very hard at putting together the guts of the conference, because I knew also that this was going to be the content pretty much that we would use this in the rest of the year. So I did work very hard at building it. I actually hired somebody as far as a professional, not with the content, just to help me, frame it and all those things. And I ended up, here's the crazy thing though. I ended up not necessarily completely sticking to that.
Nope.
I didn't. And I had it there. I had something in my hand too. I needed that in my hand.
Your security blanket.
Yeah, I was kind of like, well, it could go back to that. I did. This might be a fun fact that somebody might not know about. I sucked my thumb till I was 9. Till I was 9. Justice is 9. He's soon to be 10. He'll be 10.
Yeah.
Think about Justice walking around with it was literally funniest thing ever. Because I don't think I've ever shared that.
Probably not. Pretty random.
I know. Well, you said security blanket. It was my mom's robe. It was blue. Maybe, oh my gosh, Chrissy, it was navy blue. That could be why it's my favorite color. It was navy blue. Literally, they would try putting it in the trash. They put hot sauce on it. And it didn't matter. It did not matter. And so it was her old bathrobe, and it literally got down to like this big. And what broke me is I broke my arm, and I couldn't get my thumb. I didn't suck my thumb in school and stuff like that. But I remember thinking, and it's so crazy, but I remember thinking as a young, like, how do people not suck their thumb? Like, how do you not suck your thumb? But anyway, you said the scary debate. That's what kind of like jotted my, but yes, it did. So totally did not, I mean, yes, I did go by the frame and you had the slideshow and our bullet points, but I just kind of went with the bullet points. And let me tell you one thing right now. And it's okay to say this. I killed it. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to say that.
Yep.
You know, some people will say, oh, well, that's just being so arrogant, so, conceited. No, it's not. No, it's not. When you know that you did do well, yeah, there was things that I probably could have done better, but for the first go round, it was good. It was good. It was much better than I anticipated. That's for sure. But yes, you're right. The nerves probably were more of not, I cannot just go by notes. I don't know how people can do it. I get lost. I just don't know how they can do it, which, by the way, I know I'm talking a lot and just cut me off. That's why I tell them, like, just cut me off. If you guys say something, just cut me off. But perfect example of why whatever you are doing, whatever your, business, whatever it is, your skill that you're doing, why you should always be growing and learning, and never cap out. Prime example was this first conference. All the stuff that came out of me, I didn't even know was there. And it was there. We want to know why? Because I don't just, like, when we end this podcast today, I don't just go home and just, I don't do that. Mm-hmm. So prime example is for situations like that.
Mm-hmm. I think you can always also, like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with feeling good about yourself, and especially considering all the preparation that you put into it. And when you've put in that kind of hard work and then it delivers well, then
that's good, Christy.
Then there isn't an issue with, because that's not arrogance. That's just because you know that you worked your butt off.
I did. And I know you did. And I know you did. It wasn't just me. Yes, I was the one speaking, which that's not always going to be. It's not always going to be. You're going to be speaking more as the conference progresses and as Life Made Full progresses. And there's so much inside of you, Doug, that I know that I see you speaking as well. But anyway, we're not going to go. But yes, that's good. That what are you laughing at?
Nothing.
You don't think you could? Do you think you could?
Yeah, I know I could. I'm not saying that. I was just laughing. It's just, I don't know. It was just, once again, something random. You just something you threw in there. You could speak, but I'm not going in there. We're not talking about that.
You know me, Douglas. You know, like, I'm just it. Here's the thing too, we'll get into business. This podcast is turning in. I can already see the direction of where this podcast is going and how it will evolve through time. It's going to evolve and it's going to grow and it's going to change, and it's, that's life. Mm-hmm. But more so that as it evolves and our personalities come more out, that you're going to really see how we interact with one another. And we're very sarcastic. Very. I know you said your dad is like, no, you want to meet a sarcastic person.
Yeah.
Meet Doug Sr. He is probably, well, you said it best, one of the most sarcastic people you ever meet in your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's close between him and your brother.
Oh, that's very true.
Yeah.
My twin brother, yes. He
That's why they can go at it all day long at family events.
I know. So
Bugging Grandpa.
I know. But, so you're going to learn more as we evolve on this podcast that, what we bring is uniqueness and authenticity. And we're not trying to form into anything other than what this podcast is going to form into. And that's why when we hit the live button, we're just, okay, we're rolling. Like you said, you stood and you said, what are we going to talk about today? I do not know. I don't. So the moment we hit it, we don't know. And sometimes those are the best table conversations. You said it best. Sometimes those are the best. When you don't know, you're just like laying like, what's going on in your week this week, Doug?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in your week, Christy?
Mm-hmm.
So the, yes, the
Is that a real?
conference-
Was you
I know,
really
I-
asking?
It was,
or
but
is
you
that
guys
it?
looked at me like
Oh.
I had 5 heads, so I just moved on.
I thought you were joking.
I just thought that it was. Yeah.
Well, it's like I said in that one thing. This week's just kind of been the follow up. So
It really
it's like
has.
you prepare, execute, follow up.
Yep. And the amazing thing, obviously, is which I shared that on the last podcast that I told you. I was like, well, what if nobody even shows up? And you're like, okay, what if? Like, what? Okay. But I mean, we ended up like it was full. It was just more than I ever anticipated. And I also know one thing, also, Doug and Christy, that 100% there's no going back for me. Like, no, zero, like, if zero, like, if you could go below zero, like, there is zero chance of me going back. I am not the same. After
so
that,
negative?
negative. I thought negative, and then I thought, well, yes, but
I'm
you
just
know,
kidding.
I know. There's zero chance of going back. I am forever, like, I know with zero doubt of walking in my calling and my purpose. And there's something to that. There's something to when you get to literally live out, walk in your calling and your purpose. I tasted something in a, like, I guess you could say, you know, in this way that I've never, ever, ever tasted, and there's no going back. I know that's it for me. Everything has led these past, you know, owning the cleaning business all these years and then starting the coaching business and helping the small business owner, which God called me to that. And then every single bit of that led to that one. Oh, I just went in the mic. Didn't mean to do that. Led to that one moment in time. And I knew afterwards. I've tasted that. And there is no going back. None. Give me more of that because that's where I'm supposed to be. That's the next.
Yeah.
Add to that. I can't keep talking. I cannot keep talking. What did you learn about the conference? Was there anything that, or like a highlight moment that stood out for you?
I mean, obviously it was all really good. Obviously we know, which we're not announcing, like a new direction that I'm going to be going into. And so obviously that
We could announce some part of it. We don't have to announce all of it because I was actually going to say that. We could
No coming back. So whatever.
No
you
coming
say-
back from that. I
so
know. There's
whatever you say.
No. I know that. No, which it's okay. We can announce this part that you are going to come along beside me coaching. So you're going to kind of come in and never beneath me. You're always beside me. And so you're going to start coaching, and that's going to be February, March, right around April. You will be on board helping in that.
and it'll be a different dynamic.
It's going to be a great dynamic. Trust me.
So
Way
obviously,
louder. She's way louder.
So
Do you think I'm loud?
Your personality.
I know I do. Somebody told me like you have this dynamic personality. Oh, it actually was the lady that I actually helped that I hired to help me frame the the conference. She's like, you just have this dynamic personality, and I didn't know. Take that good or take it bad. I just in my own mind I was like, okay, yeah, she's just trying to say I'm over. I'm extra. That's what it is. I'm extra.
Very.
very.
Go ahead, Chris. I'm so sorry.
No, it's your extra. It's your personality. I'm trying to think. Well, one thing that probably they don't necessarily know is how you. So she did cheerleading. You did cheerleading for 1 year, right? Was it 1 year? She cheerleaded for 1 year in school, and yet she's a pro cheerleader to this day. That's just her loud personality. She will convince you that she cheered all through school.
It's that is a true statement. I'm trying to get Lexi, my granddaughter, to join the cheer. Like, I want her to be a cheerleader. Mm-hmm. And I told her I will teach her everything she needs to know. Everything she needs to know, I will be her coach.
Your kind of personality.
Kind of like I'm a Texas girl.
Yeah. Yeah, you lived there for how long?
Well, off and on, though, seriously. Off and on,
but you were born and raised there. You still know those streets like the back of your hand. But getting back to the question.
Back.
Yes, there was things that obviously there was highlights as far as just
how much you want to bet Mom didn't remember the question? She was like, where?
She was just like, yeah, where are we going back to?
I know, that's why I was like, oh, yeah, go on. Yes, Christy.
But going back to that, yes, there was highlights of the conference as far as I think it was more just confirming or knowing that this is, again, the direction that we're supposed to go and different things like that.
It felt right.
Yeah.
It just felt, we knew for certainty this is it. Like I knew it. I mean, obviously I had the nerves. You even came over to me. Let's talk about this. I was in a coaching group last night and I was telling him this. You came over to me at one point and here was more or less you were like, you need to get it together. Like you looked at me and you
said, like, what is going on right
you
now?
Said, I know, because you said I've never seen you this.
You
nervous.
were literally like this, like kind of walking, and I'm like,
he was like, you got to get it. You did tell me that. You got to get it together.
Yeah, I was like, you're like all like hunched over, like curled up, and like,
did you see that?
You doing that? Yeah.
Wait a second.
Like, what is this? Who is this person?
Who is this person? I was, and I think you're right, Dallas. You know what? Now I'm thinking about it. It probably was the nerves of trying to keep to the notes. I got all in my head. And
well, there was two. There was that, and then you got in your head right from the beginning because, like you said, what if no one shows up?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sure you were still thinking that.
You're right, I was.
Because honestly, there was a lot of people that, not due to their fault, because the roads were pretty bad. There was a lot of people that showed up 5 minutes later. So
yes,
and then it just filled completely up out of nowhere.
You're right, Dallas. And even though, and let's talk about that, because even though I teach, I preach, I can't have you got to be faithful. Even if it's one, you will be, and God knows that I would have been. If one would have just shown up, I would have acted like there was 100. And we all know that.
Yeah.
But it's still the human, that human side of us of nobody really wants to come and hear you, like that.
Yeah.
And so you have to learn that, push it down, and even if doesn't matter, you're showing up, and because sometimes I do believe like God's going to say, okay, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna test you. Nobody will show up. Are you still going to be faithful? Will you still do it again? And that's half the battle. And it is. And so you're right, Dallas. But I knew regardless I was still doing it. I knew that. And so, but I also believe this, talking about that I also believe wholeheartedly that, I know I get spiritual a lot, Dallas. I know that. I can't help it. It is who I am. And that's the biggest part of me. And I know you don't care. I'm just saying. And I know
what are you getting at right now?
Because I know sometimes we don't talk about business, but this is business, faith, and family. So so I know you know that. I was just anyway. That
For the people that don't know,
Yeah.
just in case you did not know, that I knew there had to been, I was crossing a threshold. I was crossing a boundary. And it's almost like if you're listening to this and you have something before you that's so big and it's bigger than you, and sometimes we can't see that, like it's bigger than us right now. It's bigger than us, that the enemy he does not want you to cross that threshold, because the moment that you cross it, the game's going to change. And that's what happened. That's what happened. Like, I crossed it and there's no going back. I'm not the same as I was a week ago, and I promise you that. I feel like I have grown. Like, I can't even explain it. What are you laughing? I see that smirk.
I'm not laughing
I
about
see
that.
it. What are you laughing about?
Nothing. You were just. It was from earlier.
What? Oh, so your mind did what I say earlier.
No, I was just laughing at how you were talking about how, like, if no one showed or whatever, and how, like, that would make you. And then I was just thinking, like, well, how would that, like, make me feel, like, knowing that I'm the one that marketed it and did all that stuff, and then no one shows up. I'm gonna be worried you're gonna fire me. So I was trying to prepare you, like, maybe no one does show. Who cares? It's not a big deal.
So that was reverse psychology.
Yeah, no big deal.
You were doing reverse psychology on me, that I taught you how to do reverse psychology, because we used to do that a lot with you too.
Yeah.
And even to this day, sometimes I'll do it, and you're like, your reverse psychology is not working right now. I'm not trying to do it. It's not reverse. But yes, no. So getting back to that, whenever you're faced with something big that's going to change lives, that's going to make a difference, it's going to make an impact, it's just part of the game. And if you can cross that threshold, I promise you, because I know you're never going to be the same. You can't. You can't.
And like for you, because I know for me, like when I have felt like that I'm about to like move into like something new, or like different things, even like with like working with like the worship team, just different things like that. It seems to me like anytime that you're about to like cross those markers, that's going to change everything. That's when the enemy's voice is the loudest.
Oh, always.
And that's such an indicator of what you're about to walk into.
Exactly. And I knew that. I did. I recognized that. And I knew that, okay, this is going to be big. Like I got to recognize I've been doing this. Like I've been in this a long time, and I have to recognize this is big, or this attack wouldn't be this massive. Because honestly, it was an attack. So
yeah.
But we moved on, and we're going on. And the next dates, which we will be putting those dates up very, very, very soon, of the next 4 dates. I said we're going to be in 5. I'm still waiting. People's been asking me, okay, where are you going? We're going to Arizona, Texas, Florida, and it was Ohio. And so we're still waiting. I'm still waiting about the 5th. And honestly, I am. I'm just waiting on God to say this is going to be the 5th. Italy, let's do it. Yes.
Send the whole family to Italy.
Let's go. Woo. Although one of the ladies that I coach weekly, she messaged me a couple weeks back, and she said, Mike, I had a dream about you. And she's like, I dreamed that you were holding this big, massive conference in my home state, which is Brazil. I was like, oh.
We'll accept.
Yeah, I received that dream. Yes, that's a dream from the Lord. So she was actually at the conference. She actually came. We had people come from Alabama, Kentucky, Kansas, where else? Michigan. We had a couple come from Michigan, couple come from Kansas. Where else? I mean, Columbus. Obviously in Columbus, there was people there in Columbus. Cincinnati. It was just, it was awesome. awesome. Learned a lot.
Yep.
Learned a lot. So are you ready? Do you think that the next one, you ready to speak?
I don't know. We'll slow our roll for a minute.
Well, because you do realize that probably, the next one, you will be like a actual like certified coach.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have to be speaking.
We'll see. We'll announce it as we go.
Yes. So we're going to be letting putting the dates out soon. So yeah.
Just take a minute.
Well,
You don't like the silence.
I don't like silence. And I know there's power in silence.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that there is power sometimes in that silence. So what'd you learn? Like seriously, I'm asking if you had to do over, like man, I think this is the first time I've leaned back and got comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm usually all up on it.
On our what, 7th, 9th, 8th episode?
I'm just trying to think. I told them, I'm like, I love random questions. I think that keeps the spirit alive. Mm-hmm. Learning our personalities. I love. Even at the conference, we opened it up for a live Q&A. I said, ask me anything. And I even let people, like, I love, like, random questions. And there was some great, the one lady, I can't think of her name, but she asked me, she said, did you always know that you were an entrepreneur? I was like, I love those questions. And the answer is a big N-O. I did not know that I have that entrepreneur spirit, obviously, until it started really like growing. And then I knew, what do you think an entrepreneur spirit is?
You don't think that you knew that though?
No, at 23, no. I don't. I knew that I was a very strong individual. I knew that I always say, I just believe you're, and like I said, I don't have any.
I figured that you probably had seen it.
Well,
Not
I mean,
necessarily
obviously.
seen it, but knew just because.
Well, it's kind of like in the DNA.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is true, but did I ever set out to say,
Did you know what to call it?
That's probably it. I didn't know.
So what's your definition of entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a good one. Definition, well, for one, they are free. Well, don't be looking it up because
I
my
do. I want to
look it up, but then I'm gonna probably have a different.
Oh, me too, and I'll tell mine
For
too.
an entrepreneur, my definition would be somebody that has a free spirit, like a wild, super free spirit, that they want to create their own schedule. They want freedom. Obviously, we know that. That's just common sense stuff for entrepreneur. But an entrepreneur for me would be like you can't be held back. It's just this crazy free spirit inside of you that you're a risk taker. I'm a huge risk taker. That risk does not scare me. Now, risk scares you. What are you laughing about?
Nothing, just go. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
I'm not laughing about that.
Risk scares the life out of your dad. He's not an entrepreneur, and he will plainly tell you he's not an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just trying to sum it up that introverts can't be entrepreneurs.
Oh, that you? Yeah. Nah.
What's yours, Chrissy?
I still had more, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, let me just tie this up. That you have to take a risk at yourself. An entrepreneur literally has to take a risk at themselves and be a risk taker that either and if it fails, okay. It fails and I'm going to go on. But so you have to be a risk taker, crazy free spirit, and you do not care what everybody thinks of you. Mm-hmm. And you got to be okay with that. First, Mike, you got to be okay. Like, I'm totally fine that I don't fit the normal whatever, because I don't jump on everybody's bandwagon, and I don't try to be liked by everybody. Don't get me wrong. The Bible says that we got to show ourselves friendly, like to have friends. And I know that, but if you don't like me because of my strong personality or because of who God has called me to be, I'm to the place in my life, then it's your loss, because I'm not jumping on every bandwagon, and that is an entrepreneur to me. Go ahead, Kristen.
I don't necessarily, I don't know. I guess I've never thought about like what an actual definition is. Obviously, I know you looked up the definition of it. But for me, like I know that I have traits. Like Malachi's always telling me, like you could do so much because of my traits that I have. But see, then I have this other side of me that's not the free.
You got the
spirit
Doug
part.
Race side.
Yeah,
you got your
So,
dad.
I'm the one who gets caught up thinking too much about everything that
The
could
what
go
ifs.
wrong, or 100%. So I don't know. I feel like I'm a mixed, and I feel like that if I could like get over that constant worry of overthinking everything, which is just part of, for whatever reason, how my brain processes things. And it's like, if I could get over that, then I know I have the traits, and I know I have what
Absolutely.
it takes. So I don't know.
You have the discipline as well. Entrepreneurs got to be very disciplined individuals.
Right. Discipline, like hardworking, like I can like do all that easy.
Absolutely.
That's like cake work to me. But as far as just like, even like Douglas is like, you got to quit thinking about what people think so much. And we've talked about that before. Like I got so caught up about even like just hearing my voice on this. Like I don't even think I've ever went back and listened before, just because it.
I haven't either.
Just because I don't like to hear myself talk and
I know.
stuff, and it's like you have to get over that. And so I feel like if I could get over that threshold, as you were talking about, then yeah,
Watch out.
yeah, but
And you can get over that. It's just you got to plow it down. That's fear.
mm-hmm.
You do realize that.
Yeah, I know.
That's fear.
I know what it is. That's the thing. I even know it. I can see it, and it's like, but how do I get there? It's like,
Come beside me on the, and you
like-
will be there. Guarantee it.
it's like how Ocean, like I was laughing the other day because she had her bottle, and her bottle was sitting beside her, and I could tell that she was looking at it, and she was like, okay, how am I going to get there? So I can see it, but how am I supposed to get my, like, I can't, because she did. And that's how I feel sometimes. It's like, okay,
You
I can see it, but how am I going to get there? But yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Well, obviously I have the definition, but I was going to say this regardless. So what mine has always been is essentially like you're going to do whatever you can at whatever cost, mentally, physically, financially, whatever, to make money, like to hustle in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I've always, and everybody in high school, everybody knows that about me. I've always been hustling stuff, burnt CDs, candy bars.
And what, there is a word for that. We talked about that on this. You probably should not be telling that stuff,
Well,
Douglas.
I'm sure I'm past the 7-year time. I can't be charged. But that's what, like, those type of people, those are the best entrepreneurs. Like,
well, yeah.
a pawn, like somebody at a pawn shop hustling. So that's always been my definition. But so according to the Oxford language definition, it is a person who organizes and operates a business or businesses taking on greater than normal financial risk in order to do so.
Amen.
And I think pretty much all of us said risk.
Absolutely. You got to take a risk.
So
You
I have
gotta-
the one part, I just don't have the risk. There it is.
Well, you just
The
got to get
definition.
your dad's side, like you, because that's him. He, like, seriously, we balance it. I always say this.
Yeah, but okay, hold on one sec. But
Yes.
if you had to, and you knew that there was, in order to feed your family,
Oh,
you
Well,
would,
that's
Absolutely.
different.
I know, but that
You're going to the extreme on that side.
Well,
Well, he's saying that
some people don't do that though. You know,
he's saying if
True.
you could just get your mindset in that place.
Yeah, even though you're not there.
Because it's like you
some
can.
people would rather,
Douglas,
do other things.
I trust
than
me.
That would be like basically what he's saying is basically because that's when you have to really dig deep on what you're made of.
Yeah.
And that's when you show yourself what you're made of. So that's
You
what he's saying. If
absolutely.
you like you, yeah. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Agree 100%. Just like I said, I say this with me and your dad, that he, like, how I
And Dad, you know, now that I think about it, Dad somewhat has it. He's trying to flip cars, like, you know,
well,
that's a financial risk. I know that's why he probably struggles.
wait, what do you mean he struggles? What are we talking about there?
I mean, he struggles like to probably purchase them, thinking that he's not going to make money off of them.
Well, wait a second.
But every
I
car
have put, yes.
every car he's
But
ever done, he would have made profit on. He just holds on to them.
But wait a second. Listen. So a couple months back, he needs us, like, he's got whatever, the car dollies, is that what they're called? Car where you, the trailer, whatever.
He's got a new one coming.
I know he does.
Yeah.
I know he does because I said, listen, we need, because we have 7 streams right now. 6 streams. I think it's 6 streams. We need that 7th stream. So you better get your side hustle going. That's exactly.
Well, and Dad,
You better get your side hustle
Or
going.
we're separating bank accounts.
No, absolutely not. Actually, your dad and I make such a great team because he does bring balance to me. Because there's sometimes like I'm flying and he's like pulling my feet down.
and
Like,
he's done better too, as far as because I mean, you guys have taken a little bit of risk with, I mean, because you guys are getting into like real estate and investing in real estate and everything.
building our cabin.
Yeah, I mean that's risk. And
Yes.
Well, yeah, but
I know
never mind.
it's
He took
I know it's a
risk
pretty
with
safe
the beach house, so
you know, but I mean it is a risk, and I'm sure it was a big deal for him.
It was. I mean, yeah, the beach house, that was, you know, obviously talking about that risk, you know, building the beach house, we bought the land, held on to the land for roughly a year. Now, in his mindset, we're just going to buy land. We're going to sit on land. But so me, I'm like, no, we're going to put a house on that. And, but yes, now he's more like, hey, we got to purchase more land. Like
because he sees the value in real estate.
Oh yeah,
rather than have your dollars sitting in a bank where it's not gonna.
Absolutely. So yes,
and
so
that's where his mind is lately.
yeah, absolutely. He's thinking about the long. But anyway, so I told him, like, you got to get the side hustle going because we need that 7th stream, and it's going to come from you doing your thing because he loves rebuilding. He does. He loves rebuilding, and he's good at it. Mm-hmm. Like, he loves it, but he's such a perfectionist. That's what, like, but anyway, so he's like, well, you know, if I do that, like, I need a really nice trailer. Like a real, and I'm like, okay. So for the first, he's getting it. He ordered it. He's getting it made. However he wants it. So we actually got to go get that sometime this month. But anyway, yes. Mm-hmm. Taking risk. You got to take a risk on yourself, and you're going to fail, but it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Then you just get up and you learn. You take from what you take that experience and you learn from it, and then you just keep going. You just keep going. We don't got time. Somebody, like, seriously, you don't got time to keep stopping. Mm-hmm. You do not. You do not have time to keep stopping. I was on the phone with somebody today helping them. It's a business owner. It's on the phone. I'm going to share this real quick. And because this is where I think sometimes, and it's completely, it's going along with what we're talking about, is, you know, with business owners, what happens is when they're in the overflow, they want to stop everything, right? Stop the marketing, stop the ads, yada, yada, yada. Stop. Because they feel like that's the solution. We'll stop it. We'll literally cut off our lifeline. We're going to cut off the blood supply. That was kind of like drastic, wasn't it? But it's the truth. It's kind of like cutting your knees off.
Yeah.
So they want to cut off the blood supply when you're in the overflow. And what I'm learning more and more, and I try to teach this business, do not do that. And that's what happened to this business owner. is she cut off her blood supply when she was in the overflow, or, you know, let's say you don't have enough help right now. So we're going to cut our blood supply off because we don't have enough help. So we'll just cut the blood supply off, and that will solve the problem. No, it will not. What will happen is when you need to start because you completely stopped, and so you're going back in and trying to mend what you already cut off. And you've lost so much ground, and you got to gain all that momentum back. Mm-hmm. So we don't got time in your entrepreneur journey. You don't got time to keep stopping and then starting back up and then stop again and then pick it back up. That is insanity. It's suicide, and it's not being smart. Mm-hmm. You do not have time to do that. Quit doing it. Quit thinking small, because that's really thinking small. Like, you got to stop thinking and playing small. And somebody needs to hear that. I don't know who it is, but somebody needs to hear that. Mm-hmm. Stop playing that game. Like, I'll pick it back up in a minute. I'm busy right now. I don't need it right now. No, you cannot do that. You're stopping and starting. Stop. Is it true, Dallas? You would know the answer to this. Like, when you do that in the car, like when people's always braking, then going, braking, does that take more gas?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. That's the same concept.
City and highway miles, they're different.
It's the same concept. Wouldn't you agree? It's the same concept. It takes you, like, don't do that. So whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a steady cruise.
Just keep going. And early on in my cleaning business, I wasn't worried. We've talked about that. Wasn't worried about keeping up. And my coaching business, I mean, literally, what am I been in this? 3.5 years? 3.5 years?
Something like that. I'm not 100% sure.
Let me think back real quick.
Seems about right.
I think it is 3.5 years. And it was very slow getting all, I was happy with that.
Kinda.
Kind of what?
It kind of was slow. I mean, as soon as you open up your group, it you cut people pretty quickly.
It's very true. That's very true. But and now it's almost like it just took a little bit of time, and I can't imagine. So 3.5 years, I always, at the conference, I said, you got to ask yourself this question: is this something that I can be consistent with for the next 5 years? That's what you got to ask yourself. In any endeavor that you dive into, am I going to be committed to this for the next 5 years? Mm-hmm. Why is that? Because you got to allow yourself time to, like, kind of dig your heels, get your tent, the tent pegs down in the ground, the soil, and do it. And so can you imagine, like, 3.5 years, can you imagine where it's going to be in 5 years? Mm-hmm. Just being consistent. Just be consistent, show up, and it will go. It will go. Yep. But the moment we're not consistent, and we just halt, stop, we cut the blood supply off, it's suicide. For any endeavor, any business, it's suicide. Yep. And even from a marketing standpoint, that's suicide. And I know I have fell in that trap, like, years ago, not understanding. And, well, of course, now, all these years later, I know the power of Google, obviously now, but back then, you got to remember, I didn't. But
No, and you
yes,
had pride in saying that.
I did.
I've never spent $1 marketing.
Well, back then, Douglas, but you got to remember.
I just don't understand that, because you hear that all the time. People saying that so prideful. I've never spent $1 marketing.
Well, Douglas, they say it prideful because I can know why they do, and they should say it prideful. But I get what you're saying. Back then, the power of Google wasn't what it is today.
No, it's all people. I get people what they're saying. They're saying that their business is so good that word of mouth spread that they don't need to do it. But in my opinion, you could grow bigger and better by investing money into your business, marketing.
Today, yes, but you think back 10 years ago.
Even 10 years ago.
Google was not what it is today.
I'm not talking about just Google.
Oh, well, I was talking about Google. I always did Angie's List.
Yeah, the free.
No, I didn't.
Well, you had to be a member.
No, I finally signed up and because I paid $125 a month. You don't remember that? That Angie's List is what took us to the $500,000 mark. Hands down 100%. It was Angie's List. I
That is
rocked.
all we heard was Angie, me and Alicia is Angie's List.
What'd you hear? I know. I wish we could. You know what I wish? I wish we could bring Alicia, like just call her and put her on speaker. Because I know like if it was an Angie's List house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it was an Angie's List house.
Our main employee would know too.
Miss.
Oh, yes. Tanae and Kelly. Yes.
Literally a speck.
Oh, no. Literally every single, and because that was the driving, like you talk about blood supply. Angie's List West, I told them, I actually reached out to them. This has been a while back. Now, obviously Angie's List is not what it once was. But I told him, I said, if you ever need somebody, like I will, I could be a spokesperson for you because I know what Angie's List did for our business. I know what it done. Mm-hmm. And it drove us. It was the driving force. And so any Angie's List house we had, not one went unchecked. That's why I don't understand too, with people and their businesses and they're getting complaints, whether you're in the cleaning business, restaurant business, whatever business you have, like you're getting all these complaints. Why? Find out, make sure, like have people checking, like not on your watch. And so that's how like literally every single Angie's, and we literally would have probably at least I would say 2 to 5 a week on Angie's List. Mm-hmm. And then they would sign up for recurring. So you wow them and then you keep them with your quality. In our industry, a lot of times the clients will say, they started out strong. Mm-hmm. They started out strong and then it just declined. Well, with us, that's what I did not want to happen. And we were the highest rated cleaning company on Angie's List. And every house got checked. Mm-hmm. I'd imagine
we still probably are.
Yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about Angie's List. Mm-hmm. Absolutely nothing but good things to say about it. Actually, maybe we shout them out on this podcast.
I think it's called Angie now.
It is. But it did kind of decline down. There was a decline, and then I wasn't seeing the ROI on it, and that's why we kind of stepped away, and then we just put our marketing dollars elsewhere, and it's just went from there. Yep. Slow and steady. I was never interested in like we gotta grow. I just grew at the pace that we could all keep up with, and that's why we're still standing, and that's why. What are you laughing at?
You sure about that?
What? What am I sure about?
The growth.
What about it?
You were gung-ho for the growth.
Well, of course. Back then, don't get me wrong, we're in this to grow. You know what I'm saying about. I'm just talking about like you're growing at the risk of having a revolving door. If you have a revolving door, something is drastically wrong with your business. I'm just telling you. If you have employees coming in one door and then employees going out like this, something is wrong.
Well, I think too with you is yes, there was always this huge like passion to grow. Like I know what you're saying though, as far as it's not that you weren't interested in not growing, because you were, and that was our whole motive. Obviously, was to grow, to make a good living and everything else. But I guess the difference is because your game you always played was within yourself. You weren't comparing to everybody else.
Oh, that's so good, Chris. I've never heard you say that.
Well, she really wasn't communicating besides with the one local.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Well,
so
and there wasn't.
Like, all right, we hit 500,000. All right, 750.
You were always competing with yourself.
Let's get to $1 million.
And there's a huge difference in competing with yourself versus comparing yourself to everybody else.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wait, go back and say that again. I like that. Go back when when you go back and do this, like make sure you say that, bold that
I'm
out.
cutting that out.
What did you say?
Which part? I
The
don't.
game.
Her microphone messed up.
Yeah.
The whole what? The game that what
The
was
game
it?
that you were playing
Oh, I like that.
was within yourself. It wasn't everybody else's game.
That's right. No, I did. I would like every day. I just tried to do better than the previous day. Like, okay, we did this amount yesterday. Okay, we're
and it's one of the bad. It's a good. Obviously, it's good for marketing and obviously technology is great now, but there also is because, like we've talked about before, you didn't have the phone to constantly be looking at everybody else and what everybody else was doing and everybody going on
I
and
still
posting
don't.
their fake numbers.
Oh, well, they had it. She just wasn't on social media then. The moment Mom found out how to use Facebook.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
well, but you're wrong.
It's
on
an old joke about old people with Facebook. So.
Oh
But anyways.
no, I
But-
get what you're saying. I get it, totally get it. But I still to this day don't do that.
No, I know.
I know. I just wish everybody else would be
What?
Yeah.
not do it.
Your main thing was you were such a penny pincher then.
Here in Iowa.
Yeah, you've always
Like,
had this.
and that's probably where everything, like you
Well, and that was a game to
Dave
her
Ramsey
too.
doesn't have anything on you.
That was a game to her too on how little she could spend and still get her
Oh, I
results
know.
she wanted. That was a game. She had games on how fast she could clean a bathroom, how fast. I mean, she would literally time us. Like we would walk in, she just did it. Like, yeah.
Let's do this. Let's talk about this. It's a race, but I did not, and I still do not get caught up in this whole saturated, like like I said before, if I don't want to have to think, I just scroll. Because here's what I'm seeing more, and I believe it. I just really believe it's just going to get so much worse. So much worse is with the filters and everybody posting it's so saturated. Like nothing is standing out anymore. It's just not. And so like I don't compare myself or get caught in that trap, but I think a lot of people do. A lot of business owners do.
Yeah.
And I haven't.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like the only game that you ever get caught in with comparison is yourself.
That's it. That literally, you hit it right there, sister. That is it. That you need to quote that for me.
Your only quote is, "Let's talk about that." That's gonna be on a T-shirt.
Oh,
with your
Douglas,
face on it. Let's
can
talk
you
about
stand
that.
up and turn around? What's on the back of your T-shirt? This is
I
random.
don't know if it'll fit.
You can.
If I
like-
stand up, it's gonna be above the screen.
No, it's not. You see that?
Yeah.
Look at that. What's your say, Doug? Who? You're good. But do you want to talk about that?
What?
Who coined that?
Harry Potter. It's a maverick.
We are mavericks. Like we're mavericks. We're mavericks. Why'd I have you stand up? I forgot now. Why'd I just have him stand up?
For his
My
T-shirt.
T-shirt.
I know,
dude.
but what made me say, oh, by the
I
way,
said, dude. My T-shirt, dude. Jeez.
but what made me tell you to get up? There was something that triggered that.
The T-shirt.
You remember
quote.
what? Yeah.
Because I said the quote.
Oh,
let's
that's
talk
right.
about
That's
it.
right. That's right. That's right. That's right. The
And then you
quote.
said,
Talking
ooh.
about quotes. So we are rebranding our whole website, which it should have already been finished, but I have dropped the ball a little bit with the conference and stuff. So we're going to be selling some. I once time called it gear, and you're like, please don't ever call it gear again.
It's merch.
Merch. So we're gonna be selling merch with that saying on our website, and a few other things are going to be on the website. So yes, quote what she said, and maybe possibly you can go ahead and put that on there too. I'm telling you, this podcast, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Just with you two, and the way you two look at me. Somebody told me this. They said, well, I literally watch it just for how they look at you. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. Somebody said that. I watch it just because they.
What were you just doing there?
What? Did I listen? We have our secret.
On there for a minute, but I was just like.
You weren't going to tell me?
Well, I don't know.
You can't see it.
They probably can't see it. But they probably, if anybody's watching it, they probably just wonder what you just did.
Well, I thought I had lipstick on my teeth, so I was trying to get discreetly get it off.
You were talking and you did it.
Did I? I did
I don't
not.
know.
I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. I could feel it. I thought I might have lipstick on my teeth. Yeah, Chrissy and I have our signal. Like we're out, and she goes, lets me know I got lipstick on my teeth. Because I was telling somebody at church on Sunday. I can't remember what brought the conversation up, but it was lipstick. And I said, yes, Chrissy already has her orders she knows. Like you will not, if you do not see me without lipstick on, you know something is severely wrong. And like somebody has invaded my soul. Because if you never see me with lipstick on, lipstick is a must.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And reds. I've always been, even when I was out cleaning, you remember, I had full makeup on. Full makeup. All right.
Even Bentley knew what to get you. What was that, a couple years ago?
Bless his little heart. Yeah, he brings in for my birthday, or it was my birthday or Christmas. Oh, it was my birthday. He did. And you know that particular one, I got more comments on that lipstick. He brought me in some bright red lipstick.
And he loved it on top of it because it was some kind of Spider-Man edition. So it's perfect. It's like, oh, Mamma's going to love this.
And he brought me in some press-on nails.
Yeah. What were they? Glitter, blue, purple. And
Yep.
they got rhinestones.
Oh, they're so sweet. They're sweet. He knew. He knew. Bright red. We're getting our bright red. Hey, I like to make a statement.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, somebody's phone. Anything else today? Well, we think.
Not that I'm aware of.
I told him he's going to have to start talking more. You know what he said to me? He's like, I don't get a word in. I'm like, you're just going to have to start cutting me off. You just are going to have to start cutting me off because I can talk. Oh gosh. You remember that old, you're not going to remember. Her name was Chatty Cathy. It's the old baby doll. Chatty Cathy.
Sure you had it.
No, I had the Cabbage Patch. Mm. And I remember her arm got burned. Her arm got burned. We sent her back and they fixed her. Oh yeah, back then you could. Seriously, you had to send them to the Cabbage Patch Hospital.
The American Girl, like
yes,
they do that
yeah,
now.
but you sent it to the Cabbage Patch Hospital. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we thank you for tuning in.
Tune in. That sounded.
There you go, Christy. Say it. We thank you for tuning in to our podcast. We appreciate your support. If you have not liked or subscribed to our channels, please do so. Helps us in all the areas of the algorithms. If you haven't left us a review, I know reviews are big. Please do on all the platforms. We would greatly appreciate it. And we will see y'all on the next one. Bye-bye.